Welcome to today's Croes-y-Parc Chapel Sunday drop-in. And today it is Remembrance Sunday, and so that is the theme of this morning's drop-in. And we're going to start with a song called There's a Time for Tears.
Time for tears and a time for pain. Time to hurt while the grief remains. There's a time when peace seems so far away, yet still God holds us on that day. There's a time to weep from the ache inside. Time to show what we've tried to hide. There's a time to doubt and to wonder why, and hold each other as we cry. God of comfort, God of the cross, joining us here to weep. Stand beside us, grieving our loss, and be for us the hope of peace. There's a time to smile at the memories. Time for thanks as we meet to greet. It takes time to heal, so we pause today to mourn, remember, and to pray. God of comfort, God of the cross, joining us here to weep. Stand beside us, grieving our loss, and be for us the hope of peace. God of comfort, God of the cross, joining us here to weep. Stand beside us, grieving our loss, and be for us the hope of peace.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us. Remembrance Day. I come from a long line of military people. My grandfather fought with the Devonshire Regiment in the First World War. Now, according to the family history, when he lost some fingers in combat and was invalided back to England, he was inconsolable. There were just so few opportunities to kill Germans in rural Devon. Another relative was a Second World War veteran. the pilot of a two-man submarine. He was posted as missing in action on his first mission, presumably because he had inherited the family's complete lack of a sense of direction. He was assumed to be dead, but I like to think he's still out there somewhere, still looking for the Bismarck or whatever. Theodore Bailey Hardy was another Devonshire man, though his military service was a little more impressive than that of my family. He was born in October 1863 and ordained as a minister in 1898. At the outbreak of World War I, he tried to join the army as a chaplain. He was rejected as he was already 51 years old when hostilities commenced. But by August 1916, the army was getting rather desperate, so they signed up Hardy as a temporary chaplain 4th class. And during the First World War, Hardy was awarded, in chronological order, the Distinguished Service Order, the Military Cross, and the Victoria Cross. Now, this would be an extremely rare combination of gallantry medals for any soldier, let alone someone classed as an unarmed non-combatant. All of the awards were made in 1918, when this man was in his mid-50s. The citation for the Distinguished Service Order was published in the London Gazette on the 5th of March that year. It read like this: "For conspicuous gallantry and devotion to duty in volunteering to go with a rescue party for some men who had been left stuck in the mud the previous night, between the enemy's outpost line and our own, all the men except one were brought in. He then organised a party for the rescue of this man, and remained with it all night, though under rifle fire at close range, which killed one of the party. With his left arm in splints owing to a broken wrist, and under the worst weather conditions, he crawled out with patrols to within 70 yards of the enemy and remained with the wounded men under heavy fire." Only a month later, the citation for his military cross was put in these terms: "For conspicuous gallantry and devotion to duty in tending the wounded. The ground on which he worked was constantly shelled and the casualties were heavy. He continually assisted in finding and carrying wounded and in guiding stretcher bearers to the aid post." Less than 3 months passed, and he was again featured in the London Gazette, this time for the nation's highest award, the Victoria Cross. The citation begins like this: "For most conspicuous bravery and devotion to duty on many occasions. Although over 50 years of age, he has, by his fearlessness, devotion to men of his battalion, and quiet, unobtrusive manner, won the respect and admiration of the whole division." And it went on to list just 3 of the many times he put his life on the line to save the wounded. On one occasion, the British Army was beaten back to their own trenches, and these soldiers were surprised to see Hardy later emerging from what was now enemy lines. He'd been tending a wounded soldier less than 10 yards from a German machine gun post and had come back for help to carry him to safety. Hardy had a complete disregard for his own safety. In October 1918, he was wounded when attempting to retrieve yet another wounded soldier. A week later, on October the 18th, 1918, Hardy succumbed to his wounds. He died less than a month before the carnage finally ended. Theodore Hardy was recognised and highly decorated for his courage and his devotion to duty. He frequently went way above and beyond anything the army called him to do. And in the end, he paid the ultimate price. He laid down his life for his friends. But where there are limits to what can be asked of a man, even in the fiercest and most desperate battles, there are no such limits when answering the call of God. Hardy was compelled by love and compassion. That is why he joined as a chaplain, and that is why he died. He died literally so that others might live. Every time he went out searching for the wounded, unarmed, he was willing to lay down his life just for the possibility that he might save someone else. And this was a man who emulated his master, his real master, not some brigadier at HQ. This was a man who knew the meaning and value of sacrificial love. Theodore Bailey Hardy considered his own life expendable if by any means he could save someone else. And when I think of him, I'm inspired. But I also feel petty, mean-spirited, and selfish by comparison. And I dread to think how far short I fall of the standards of sacrificial love set by the one who called both Hardy and myself to serve. We are called to love the Lord our God with all our hearts, minds, strength and soul, and our neighbours as ourselves, to lay down our pride, our possessions, our ambitions, even our lives, if need be, to lay them at the foot of the cross and to prefer the needs of others, to love no matter what the cost. This is the Christianity which Hardy knew, and it is the only Christianity there is. God bless you, and thanks for joining us.
We do hope you'll be with us again next Sunday. And until then, may God bless you, your family, and all those that you love. Goodbye.